Good morning, everybody. This is a welcome video for our classroom, which is Community and Social Innovation. We actually have 4 different sections of it, but hopefully you all found yourself in the right location. If you are watching this video, then certainly you did. Um, First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Sandy Price, and you can see me, if the recording is working correctly, in a little tiny square down in the right-hand corner of this video. And rather than videoing myself talking, I've decided to video our classroom and show you around the classroom a little bit. So um, uh, let's get started. So first of all, I have my video open, or my classroom open, to the welcome and start here page, and that's because there isn't anything on the announcements yet, although by the time you get this recording there will be, because that's where I plan to place it. But every day when you open up the classroom, it should automatically open up to the announcements, and you can see on the left side of the screen that we have a course menu. And if for some reason you want to ever check the announcements, there's the link for it. Here's the welcome and start, which is where we were a minute ago. And if you look here, you'll just see it says, this is my version. I don't know if you can create an announcement. I'm guessing not, but no announcements found. But there will be announcements by the time you see this, and this is where they will be. One of the great things about the announcements is that they also go out as an email, so you don't even have to show up here to see everything that I am sending you about the class. This announcements page will be the main place where I communicate with the class, so you need to watch it carefully. You need to watch your mail. I know a lot of students don't actually spend a lot of time in their ASU email. If that is you, particularly for a very fast-paced summer class, I suggest that you ask IT to help you figure out, if you don't already know, how to have your school email forwarded to the personal email that you use the most, even if it's only for the summer and then you switch it back. That's probably another thing I should say right away. We are cramming 16 weeks of regular semester into a 6-week class. In the regular semester, you have 15 weeks of class and a week for finals. In the summer session B semester, you have 6 weeks to do it all. And you are expected to do every bit as much work as you would if it was a full-time class. So let me just say a few things about summer classes before I start showing you around the classroom and the assignments and so forth. Summer classes move very quickly. You absolutely cannot get behind. If you do the math in terms of expectations of the university for how much time per credit hour you are expected to spend on a class, both inside the classroom, in our classroom be online, and on outside work like homework and research and so forth, for a summer class, you need to expect to spend a full 20 hours a week doing this class. Some of you may be very speedy and may not need 20 hours, but I think that you will see when we get to looking at the schedule that things are flying, that assignments are due, like in some cases every other day, in some cases even every day. So how do you move your life aside to make 20 hours? Well, honestly, hopefully you don't have anything else going this summer, but if you do, you ask your friends, your family members, and your employer, and anybody else that might tug at your elbow from time to time. You ask them to please understand that for the next 6 weeks you are going to be very unavailable, not to tempt you with, like lots of fun things to do, not to give you extra assignments at work until after the 6 weeks is up, and not to ask to make extra demands on your time within the family or whatever that you wouldn't normally be doing, at least just for this period of time. You can ask, and a lot of times people will be very cooperative. You can tell your boss that what you're doing in this class will make you a better employee, and hopefully she or he will respect that. Okay, so let's see. So that's the work fast, don't get behind part of my lecture. Okay, so let's take a look here. Again, I'm back on this link menu on the left side of the page. I'm going to click on the syllabus. This is not your typical syllabus. I guess I should say that I am not your typical instructor this semester. Actually, this class was going to be taught by Dr. Barang Faroui, and he had to step back from the class at the last minute. Fortunately, Dr. Faroui and I have the very similar disciplinary backgrounds, and it's easy for me to step in and take over the subject matter. However, I had about 5 days to prepare for this class, and what it isn't easy for me to do is to get on top of exactly how he set up his class, and also to familiarize myself with his readings. My colleague, Dr. Faroui, is from Iran, and I am from actually originally Kansas City, and now Phoenix, of course. And I tend to focus on domestic issues of community, where he tends to focus on international issues. So I'm not using necessarily all the same readings that he would have, and I haven't had time to change out readings. So we're going to be using his readings and his setup, and it's fine. I'm just letting you know I'm 5 days ahead of you on this. So hopefully I've got it all figured out. But please bear with me if there are things that are unexpected as we move through his course structure. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn off the edit mode so that we can both see the same thing. This is the syllabus that he put together, and although I changed the name on it to my own, 90% of this is what he put together. So basically you can read this. I'm not going to read it to you, but you will see that he's briefly outlined, what the modules are for this class, what the points are worth for this class, what the grading scale is, and so forth. See, I see a mistake right here. There is no journaling. So here you can see how this works. Turn it on edit. I'm going to go in and get rid of that so that you guys don't get confused later and ask me. I thought I caught everything, but clearly I did not. So let's get down here. I removed this not because it's a bad idea, but because in 6 weeks there are just some things that can't happen. Journaling is a tool that is kind of a personal debrief so that both you and the instructor can see what you got out of the class. But we'll just have to use your blog post to tell that for the summer semester because there isn't time. Okay, so you will notice in here that there are no due dates and so forth. That's unlike my syllabi for any of you who've had my classes, but there is a course schedule back over here onto the menu, and let's take a look at the course schedule. And I have updated all these assignments based on what I think it will take for you to get things done. But you will see today, part 1, which is the personal introduction, is due, and part 2 is due tomorrow. So you see how we are moving very, very quickly. And so you will want to come here pretty much every day. There are a couple of spaces where you will see that you have more than a day or two to get things done, but not many. Okay, so this is here. You can print this down and keep it by the side of your computer if that works for you. We have a couple of textbooks that we're going to be working out of. The latest version of this participatory practice book does not look exactly like this, but it doesn't matter. And this Power of Social Innovation is actually available online at the library. I believe the participatory practice book is on reserve also at the library, but not readable online. Dr. Faroui has, in most cases, made copies or PDFs of your readings, and so while you are waiting to obtain the book, you will have at least the sections of it that you need early on. Okay, so he's also made a bunch of other recommendations and some of these books I'm also very familiar with, and they are really good. If you like this topic and you want to learn more, strongly suggest you look there. If you, in some of the assignments, feel like you need to do some additional research, those are places you can go. And again, some of those books are in the ASU library, available online for you to read as well. Okay, so blogs. We are going to have a blog. Right now, the only thing there is my own introduction. But you don't want to necessarily get to the blog that way, and I will show you why. I'm going to come back to the hallway conversations later, but let's just go straight to what our assignments are. So here we are. There are 4 modules across the 6 weeks. The first one is called River of My Life. And the idea here is that we're going to start by seeing what you already know and what you already think about the topic that we're studying. And so Dr. Fruey has created these activities, and the first one is your introductory blog post. But let's take a look at it, because it's not just an introduction. He actually gives you a question. How has the river of your life carried you to a profession, an interest, or an ambition, and eventually to a program at ASU that involves working with people and communities? And where do you hope that this river will take you in the near future? And he's also given you some other things to think about before you answer. And then finally, he's told you after you post that on the blog to review and comment on your peers' introductions and share your thoughts using the comment button below the blog. All right, so to get to the blog, to get to the section of the blog that will be about this, you just need to click this title. He set it up so that you will go straight to this. This is the River of My Life story, a little bit about my career and my life. And then, by the way, I added some personal stuff down here for all the reasons that I share that's important in the other video about succeeding in an online environment. All right, so again, this course modules link is going to be where we spend most of the time. And you will see that every time you get into an activity, in this activity, there's part 1 of the activity and part 2 of the activity. And again, you want to look at the schedule. Let's see if we can keep the schedule open. Yep. Let's keep the schedule open on our right, in another tab, just so that we can show you. So let's see. River of My Life, part 1 is due today, and part 2 is due tomorrow. So here we are. This welcome introduction is due today, and this part 2, River of My Life, which requires you to do a reading, and you can see that if you click this, the reading will come up for you. And write a short blog post, which again you get to by clicking this part 2 button. All right, and you've got, I've numbered, I went back into Dr. Fruey's work and added and reworded and added my own hints and so forth. But one of the things I did is number these. And that's to help you remember that you've got 3 things you actually have to get done to have successfully finished this River of My Life. So the first one is to read. The second one is to write a blog post that focuses on this question. And the third one is to comment on your classmates using the comment button. Okay. And then here are some helpful tips. I don't always give them to you, but for example, I discovered when I clicked on the reading that I just showed you that the pages were out of order and they were numbered with Roman numerals. Not everybody is familiar with Roman numerals, so I've given you a link with a Roman numeral chart if you happen to need that. I've suggested you might want to print down the reading and put the pages in order. It will be easier than helping you, than having you have to try to figure it out online. And finally, gave you some things to think about if it's confusing to you. So at the bottom of each one of these activities that Dr. Fruey has given you, there is a link that says click here to return to Module 1. When you get to the last activity, which in this case is relearning our ABCDs, which is our asset-based community development concept. When you get done with this, you are done with Module 1. And then, obviously, you will go to Module 2. We have Module 3 and Module 4. And something's missing from here, and that is an assignment that is your midterm. You're going to have one day where you will be taking a midterm. It's actually a pass-fail midterm. It's not a graded midterm. You either did it successfully, or you didn't do it at all, or you did it very poorly. And for some reason, IT has removed it from these modules. I will have to find it and have it put back in here, but you will eventually see that it's right between Module 2 and Module 3. All right, so this last thing I want to show you is hallway conversations. Basically, hallway conversations is a place where you can leave questions and comments about the topic if you're confused about how something works. And I put this here. It's really just a discussion board, and you can create a thread basically by clicking this create thread, and I'll just create a thread. How does hallway discussions work? But you might have put, where can I find the midterm? Or I can't seem to figure out how to upload a document, or anything at all like that. And I will try to come back here and answer you, but you should also come back and answer each other because it might be faster. And then you just, type what your problem is down here and click submit. I'm making this up as I go. All right, probably the problem would be far more difficult than that, because you're obviously in discussion board if you're using this and you figured something out. But just to show you how this works, I will put this up here like this. And then you will see, here's the question: how does hallway discussions work? If you have an answer, you just go to it, you hit reply, and you type whatever you want to type. I will probably delete this before you even get there, but anyway, okay, so that's it. All right, so I'm sure all of you have been in to ASU to see your grades. If I click on this, it will just simply tell me that I don't have grades because I'm an instructor, but when you click on it, you'll see your grades. Please notice that there is an email tool, and this is a great tool for getting a hold of for some reason this doesn't say individual users. I will have to see why not. Yeah, no, those are past instructors. Okay, well, I will make sure that this email tool gets revised so that your names are there. Let's see. I can actually do it myself. I will do it later. I will not bother you with it. But you will have an email opportunity to, you'll have an email button here. It will still be here. And you'll be able to use that email button to reach out to other students in the class. I'm not sure why it isn't set up that way now, but I will set it up that way just as soon as I get off. And this is what I mean about having just a few days to go through this class with a fine-tooth comb and find anything that needs to be changed. But pretty soon you will find that you have an assignment. I believe it's in Activity 2, or maybe it's Module 2, I can't remember, where you need to reach out to other students, and that will be your first way of doing so. All right, that is enough for now. That makes for kind of a long introductory lecture. I really, really urge you to find 10 minutes or so, or 20 minutes, whatever it takes you, and find your way around the classroom. If you've had a class with me before, you will find that this is different than I usually set things up. So familiarity with me will not help you here. But it's not really that difficult. Everything, for the most part, is in the modules and the course schedule. So let me invite you to absolutely connect with me if you have any problems at all. If you haven't already, please watch the much shorter video that I created about how to succeed in an online class. That is just as important as anything I've said or shown you here this morning. And I will see you on Blackboard, and I look forward to it. Bye-bye.